That radio chick Cheryl Lee here. Welcome to the Still Rocking It podcast, where we'll have music, news reviews and interviews with some of our favourite Australian musicians and artists. Two of Australia's most beloved rock and roll larrikins are getting together. John Swan, aka Swanee, and Dave Gleeson, aka Gleeso. We're talking to John to find out all about it. To catch up on podcasts from other favourite artists, simply go to thatradiochick.com.au. Mr. John Swan, welcome to the Zoom room.
Thank you.
How did this come about? Swan and Gleeson at the Gov.
Gleeson and I have done a lot of shows together. We did the Zeppelin show with the orchestra before Zeppelin took the orchestra to it. We did that, and we took Sky up to Sydney. You know Sky, don't you?
Sky Compton Harris?
Yep.
Or Sky Blue?
Sky Blue, that's better, yeah. Damo's Mrs. The thing is that it's sort of like people who come to see me, I've been seeing the same show for a long time, and it's not been my fault because I've had the same band. Unfortunately, because they're not working with me regular, they can't rehearse all new stuff. I've got Kilo album, which is charting in Nashville, and who'd have thought at 72, you put something out just because you like the music. We never took it really seriously. We threw the film clip together during COVID. Did it here? Mark Moffat, my producer, rang me up and he said, "You never guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I was talking to the guy that owns this new record company. He's an Australian guy and he's in Nashville and he's signing all the big acts up. He heard Kilo off of one of the session players and he said, 'It's friggin' great. I love it. Can I release it?' And we went, let me think about it. Yeah, okay."
All right then.
Yeah. Go right ahead. No, and, be careful what you wish for. That's all I can say is because you never know what's around the corner,
So and the two of you decided to get together, did you?
Yeah. I just put it on Dave, because I was recording my album. This is between me and you, okay?
So you've got a new album out and it's top secret. Who is on it?
Just duets at the moment. It's a sort of who's who. I like that.
But I can't say this, can I, John?
Not yet, no. We'll do this as a special, because I'll give you the tracks to play in between.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
I think we'll have the single from Kilo, Parchment Farm, and then we're going to be back to talk to John Swan about things we can talk about.
I be down here with a ball and chain. Lord, I be down here with a ball and chain. Well, I be down here with a ball and chain.
Let's talk about what we can talk about and get the Gov full as a goog.
That would be absolutely sensational because that's what's going to pay for it. I paid for all, believe it or not. I'm the only 72-year-old guy who puts an album out on his pension. I paid for the whole of, I get a pension of about $1,200 a fortnight or something. And I've paid everything with that pension because I had no money in the bank. You know that, like money has long since gone.
What's money?
Goodbye, my friend. Alas, it is that I must leave thee. But, it's not been an issue for me because it reignited a passion I lost in Adelaide. I just sat there, it's been much more positive and I've got to a point in my life where I just don't have any crap in it anymore. If it's vexatious to the spirit, I don't want to know about it, If it's people who, everybody wants something, some people are prepared to give you something for it, It's a sort of bartering system, but we're talking about emotions and people's love for different characters, And sometimes people can abuse that. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to have it anymore. I'm not going to have it. And as soon as I did the first one, I actually said, no, I can't do that. If you want me to do that, it's going to cost you X, blah, blah, blah. They say, yeah, sure, of course. That was lower than what we were going to pay you anyway. And I went, so by not speaking up in the past, I've diminished my own brand down to a very small price. By making yourself available. My brother got on to me and he said, excuse my language, he said, you're crazy. You undersell yourself. You don't value your own product. You don't value your own work. You don't value the work you do in the community. You got to pull your finger out and start looking after you. And I went,
good advice. Was that big brother or little brother?
Little brother. I'm the big brother.
Alan or the other brother?
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Listen to your brothers, John. Still Rocking It podcast with that radio chick, Cheryl Lee. Speaking of brothers, let's have one with little brother Jimmy Barnes from his Double Happiness album. What will they say? Back to speak some more to Swanee shortly. Which room in the Gov?
The big room.
Good-o. What can we expect from you two?
Well, I'm bringing Dave Blight in as well, hopefully because he's moving up to Peterborough. I'm waiting to find out. But I'll say he's going to be there as well because he plays with Dave on the song that Dave does on my duets album, you know.
Can I play that?
Yes, you can. Yeah. You know, I don't really mind if you say that, you know, little bits of that, because it's all it does is it puts a teaser out there. What we need to do is instigate that whole process where before PR people used to look after it. They just grab me and take me along. I'd sit there and I'd start talking and then they'd go, that's enough, let's go. And you're gone. And it snowballs and people then want to hear, what else do you do? I heard you on such and such the other night. Let's listen, rather than saying the same thing over and over. Here we're going to do the same as we did at the Marianne. We're going to do that. Today I just decided I've just got an answer from Rob Pippin there.
Rob Pippin Band is going to back both you and Dave?
We'll be together.
So you're going to sing together all the time, not you sing, he sing?
No. We're going to do...
So you're going to sing some of your songs?
Yeah, a few of mine.
Some of his songs?
Yep, Screaming Jets. I'm talking to Dave tonight. I think that, you know, this is hard for me to say, but I want to do, a Doc song, you know?
An Angels song?
Yeah, because I loved Doc. You know, he was a very, very special man. I don't think people know how special. And when John put, you know, no disrespect, and I'm not speaking out of school, I just loved Doc because I think that he made the Angels what he was and he didn't get the credit he was due. Although Dave Gleeson nailed the shit out of the gig. You know, you have to be a fool not to love Dave. You know, he's everything that you want a guy to be on stage. He's a knockabout. He's fairly fit. He's not interested in sort of molesting the women. He's friends with everybody and he's got good banter, you know. Plus he's a fucking good singer.
I think, you know, Doc was such an intense front man.
He was a quintessential
big
rock
boots
singer.
to fill.
Yeah, and he did it really well. But, you know, I think that, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I'm not going to even bring it up because it's none of my business. And, you know, I prefer to keep the memories that I have of the Angels with Doc, because I was going to join the Angels before Buzz joined them. I was going to be the drummer. John and Rick got me outside, and Doc, they got me outside the Findon Hotel back when it was the old Angels, like when Doc used to play bass and he had that leather jumpsuit. They were supporting us at the Findon. I went outside and they said, would you be a drummer in our band? And I went, oh, no, I'm not into it. You know, it's too corny for me, you know, because they hadn't got a hold of that.
They hadn't found their identity yet.
Yeah, the essence of what they are was an Albert sound. It became very George and Harry because they were great at learning how to be a successful rock band. And they took what was taught to them and what they already knew and put all of that together and came up with this great formula for a rock band. You know, am I ever going to see your face again and stuff like that? You know, they are rock and roll anthems. I think they're just a wonderful band. And when I seen them the next time, I thought, oh, shit, I might have made a big mistake here. You know,
so can you give us the scoop, John? What Angel song are you going to sing?
I'm going to leave it to Dave. I don't care. It's because, I think that all their songs are good. You know, there's not too many songs if you listen to it. And even just the guitar hooks, you know, like you hear that lick and you know immediately what it is.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
Without any further ado, this is it, folks. Over the Top, Take a Long Line, the live version from the Greatest Hits album of the Angels from 1978 with Doc Neeson. Then back to speak to John Swan after that.
This is it, folks. Over the top.
My job when we get to the Gov is to entertain the punters. So I want to be able to give them as vast a choice as we can from the Party Boys, bit of Swanee, bit of Screaming Jets, bit of, you know, not a bit, a lot of the Bon Scott show. You know, we're going to do a lot of that because we did that show, the Bon Forever show with Angry, Mark Gable, myself, and the All-Star Band, and we did it nationally. And it was the first one that was ever done just after Bond. And I got to tell you, it was the most exciting thing I think I've done, except for when the Party Boys went number one. That was when you first walk out to the audience and you get that reaction. It's all of a sudden you've been elevated to something that you weren't the night before, you know?
Well, we can't wait, John. It's Saturday, 24th of August.
Yes. Yep. I think that you'll really enjoy the show this time because it is much different to the old shows. You know, if we go out there and play the old show again, I think I'll scream. You know, I don't think I would do it, you know. I mean, I wouldn't even do it here in Coffs Harbour, to be honest with you. I play all different stuff up here. Adelaide seems to have wanted me to be in that pigeonhole, and I'm sick of it. I'm over it and want to move on. And if anybody else doesn't like it, then they'll move on too. You know what I mean?
Oh, we love all those old songs, and we love the artists that we love playing them. You know, it's win-win. Great song, great artist, put it together.
Well, hello. You know, like since I've sort of put the post up, I couldn't make the post. I tried to make the post myself, but when I made well, you're good at doing flyers, so it's different for you. But I tried to do a flyer and put it up there, and it looked so bad, you know, like it was so out of focus and everything else. So
who made this one?
Jeanette made one, and then Jason, the Premier's, South Australian Premier's guy, made the orange one. That one, yeah, he made that.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I've got another one that a guy from Singapore did, Robert Deal, who owns a massive record shop in Singapore. He did this thing, and it's got the Party Boys playing in the background, and that's super over the top of it, you know. That will go up this week too.
So you have got about 8 weeks of fairly intense rehearsals coming up?
Yeah, the thing is, I know them all because we're also going to play some Zeppelin stuff. Dave and myself and Sky went up to Sydney and played with the Sydney Orchestra before the Zep Boys did it. We did that thing nationally.
Trendsetters.
We did it at the Enmore Theatre. It wasn't trendsetting, it was just one step further. There was a smart promoter who was prepared to spend money to make money. When we did it, we packed out the Enmore. The show was great because it had the string section in there, and I'm standing on stage. And sometimes you have to kick yourself when you're on stage because you get up there and you're sort of in a half doze. Oh, Christ, here we go again. Anxiety and all of that. No anxiety, just get out there and you're doing something you love and you go, oh, shit, this is what I always wanted it to be. You know, like it should be like this every night. It's very hard to get that level of perfectionism and professionalism without a budget.
Still Rocking It podcast with that radio chick, Cheryl Lee. Oh my goodness, so many good songs I could play right now. Let's take a listen to Hold Your Head Up by the Party Boys from their Greatest Hits, Misses, Rarities and B-Sides album from 1987. Then we're back to speak to Swanee.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head high.
Two important questions to ask you. We have got our Support Act South Australia fundraising lunch on the 15th. Will you be here yet or not quite?
I'll try and get down for it because I've also got a lot of things I want to do. I want to get the young kids in South Australia. See, all the guys I've got on the album, this is just an idea. I want to get a prize for budding artists, emerging artists. And what I want to do is get people who have got no chance. Their parents can't afford a drum kit, like me. You know, like when we started, I borrowed a drum kit for the first 15 years, every night off different people. And when I learned how to play guitar, I had to go and borrow a guitar, bring it home, play for a couple of hours and then take it back, you know, like, but if you want to do something, you will do it. But I had hope. The kids don't have hope if your parents haven't got the money to do it. You know, they can't pull the rabbit out of a hat if the rabbit's not there. There's so many kids that are in that thing. And it's not, oh, here he goes on his high horse. You know, it's not. It's about music. Music's a gift that should be given to children at school. And if I can find a way, I will find a distributor who will get instruments to those schools like Elizabeth or down south. There's a bunch of guys over there in South Australia that nobody really knows about who are living there. You know, they've been in massive bands. They want to get behind it as well. So if I do that, then what we might do is get one of those kids to be on the duets album. And that's their prize. That's your chance to break through because if you give a kid hope and you put them amongst those guys will then fall into line and give them the same sort of support. And it might be some little Jimmy Barnes sitting in there at home.
Or little Johnny Swan.
Yeah, well, little wasn't so little. The thing is that I think that every kid deserves a chance. if you give them hope and you give them something to live, even just to have a dream is something. If you've got nothing and you're lying in your room and you're just sitting there and you've got hope and you've
got something.
You've got that big thing that makes you every bit a chance to be successful.
Yes. If you do come over a week prior to get that organised, you've got an open invitation to join us at our table for lunch.
Yes.
Got another important thing to do while you're in Adelaide next time that you didn't get time to do last time.
What was that?
Coffee with me.
Oh, Christ, yeah, that's normal. What I'll try and do is get down there to do it because I wouldn't mind doing a couple of songs at the lunch.
Absolutely.
People that I love from, back to Joyce and all of those people, like they were instrumental in our career, like when we first started in South Australia.
You've got an open invitation to take the mic, John.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, I'll send you an email with the date.
Yes, please do. And remind me.
It'd be terrible if you came the day after our lunch.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Come the day before.
I would come the day before.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
Here's one I hope the boys will play from the All For One album from the Screaming Jets. Come on. Back to say ta-da to John after this.
Come on, let me show you how to do it.
Depends on how we get with rehearsals because obviously this show has to be rehearsed. But I think it's nice and I hope that the punters come along and see it because it's going to cost us everything we've got to get it. I shouldn't say that, but it is. And if you're going to do Zeppelin and Bon Scott and Angels and Swanee and Party Boys and Screaming Jets, they should be jumping out their skin to get to see that gig,
Absolutely. So get onto the Googleometer. Get your tickets right now. Don't miss out. Do yourselves a favour, as Molly would say.
Yeah, get on, Molly.
Here's the last important question. Which song do you need a tambourinist for?
You graduated to tambourine, have you? Wasn't it the triangle?
Triangle.
You've gone up in the world, girl. Social climber.
I know, right?
Well, there's lots of other girls, Dee and all those. Oh, Dee's going to be in America and all of them people. But, if you can organise a few of the girls on tambourine, we'll get a baritone tambourine, we'll get a soprano tambourine.
There must be one song.
Of course there is.
Tambourine.
What about if we do Gloria by them? And that's, remember the singer used to play that,
Yeah.
It was where Jagger ripped it off,
Perfect.
Yep, you're up.
I'm very expensive though, John.
Mate, I know.
It'll cost you a coffee.
Once.
It's been fabulous talking to you. Really appreciate your time. And this is so exciting. This is something completely different. The punters in South Australia are so lucky because you're doing one show only, right?
Well, yeah. It'll probably
stage?
finish up. At the moment, I've had the Bridge and everybody else wants that show, so we're going to give it a run in South Australia first. See, Dave's home, I'm home, everybody's home. I get a chance to see him, which I don't. I say I do, but I don't really because of late I've been going in and just been busy trying to get things going with the Elizabeth Council and stuff to get battered mums and a whole bunch of stuff, nothing to do with rock and roll. But I'll make the time this time to get out and see my friends. I didn't get a chance to see them when I played at the Semaphore. They were in the audience and there was that many people. I couldn't talk to everybody at once and some people were offended. I genuinely would never do that, It's just that you can't walk away from somebody when they talk to you and say, I've got to go and talk to somebody more important,
I shall see you down the front.
I look forward to it. And I've got to tell you, I nearly died when I seen your family the other night. They've grown up. Jesus Christ, The guy with your tambourine.
I'll be there with my tambourine. I'll bring my own.
And hopefully I can get to the support act dinner.
And hopefully we'll see you there.
I'll do my best to get there. I really will. If the punters want to see a show that's going to kick ass, and it is going to kick ass, I'm sitting here learning all of these parts, and it's like for me, I'm sitting back listening to my favourite songs, because AC/DC, I just love. When I first heard them, I was in the studio when they were being recorded the very first time.
How could you go wrong, John?
Well, let me show you.
I will have to love you and leave you.
Take care. Right. Thank you so much. God bless. Peace, sweetheart.
Ta-da for now. Still Rocking It podcast with that radio chick Cheryl Lee. All this talk of Led Zeppelin. How about a little bit of the Led Zeppelin medley, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven and Whole Lot of Love by Swanee from the Ready for Action Live in the Snow album. Enjoy.
It's been a long time since rock and roll. It's been
You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick. Thank you so much for joining me on the Still Rocking It podcast. Hope to catch you again next time. Get out when you can, support Aussie music, and I'll see you down the front.